Hey, what's up, you guys? I hope you guys are having a great day. This should be a pretty quick video. I'm gonna really cut straight to the point. The point of this video is to help you guys out of whatever situation you're in. If you're watching this video, you might be a little bit down on your luck right now. I've been there plenty of times in my life before. If you are kind of broke and you just need a quick way to make like $10,000, whether it's to pay bills or start another business or whatever that may be, literally my goal for this video is absolutely free. The goal of this is to help you guys get to 10K literally as fast as possible, $10,000. All I ask for in return is to hit the like button. That should help me out, get this video pushed out to a lot more people. I'm making this video late. It's almost 1 a.m. here in the office on a Saturday night, technically Sunday morning. So if you guys could hit that like button, that would be much appreciated. And at the end, I'm going to give a personal example of something I did, right? So putting these methods actually into use and into a practical situation or scenario for you guys. So first, I think it's extremely important to understand the math behind making that $10,000. So the first thing you could do to get that $10,000 is by getting $10,000 from one person or one business. The next thing would be getting $5,000 from 2 people. The next thing would be getting $1,000 from 10 people. The next thing would be getting $100 from 100 people. The next thing would be getting $10 from 1,000 people. Next thing would be getting $1 from 10,000 people. So I think this is the most important thing to understand. You have to decide which one of those is going to work best for you. A quick little side note, the more money you're going to be asking, so if you decide to go like one person $10,000, you're going to need a lot of help on that sales side. Your biggest problem is actually going to be able to, you have to sell yourself and whatever you're selling. Right? The sales experience is going to be crucial in getting that one sale for 10 grand. Compared to if you are getting 10,000 people to give you $1, the marketing is going to be a bigger thing because you're going to have to convincing 10,000 people to give you $1 is not that big of a deal, but you're going to have to get in front of a lot of people, right? So, the marketing to get in front of one person that can give you 10 grand isn't going to be that big of a deal. The selling of that's going to be the harder part. I would personally recommend low amount of people, high amount of money, especially given the amount of time that you have. You're trying to do this extremely quick, right? So the first thing you should be thinking about is what can you do extremely well? Like what value can you provide? Like what is something that you're good at and that you don't absolutely hate doing as well? And then the next thing would be how can you tie that directly into providing value for someone else? And then the next thing is who can you sell that to? And then who would be willing to pay you big money to either provide that service or whatever? And then how can you find that person? So here's a quick little example, and then I'll give you a personal example of some things I've done to actually make money up to $10,000 that way as well. So let's say, for example, you're really good at washing cars, detailing cars, and you don't mind spending time cleaning as well. A good thing for you could be detailing cars, right? Well, the problem is let's say there are people that charge $50 to detail cars. A lot of people might be willing to do that, but the problem is that you're gonna have to go out and find a lot of people to detail their car. So what I would recommend instead is just finding people who are willing to give you $300, $400, $500 to detail their car. So let's say some rich people, they don't want a messy car. They're willing to pay you big money to actually detail their car. So how do you find that person? You go to wherever a lot of the Lamborghinis or Ferraris or Rolls Royces are, right? Or they don't even have to be that nice, but go to a nice area, and then wherever those cars are hanging out, stick around and find the owner, right? So if they're walking out of the mall, for example, hang out by the valet section and you'll see possibly, 10 cars, 10 people that would be willing to pay you hundreds of dollars. I mean, it'd be hard to get $10,000 out of that, but you could find a bunch of people who would be willing to pay you, hundreds of dollars, and that's still high ticket. And if you do, let's say 20 cars, you could probably get that 10 grand within 1, 2, 3 months at max. Hopefully like a month you could get that if you were really hustling. So my personal example with this is flipping Instagram accounts. So something I was really good at was finding Instagram pages for very cheap, right? I would DM Instagram accounts because you'd have a lot of pretty young people that didn't quite, they just started an account reposting other people's content, often referred to as like a theme page, like a car account or a gym account or whatever. a music account, and these people would start these pages just with the goal of getting like a 10 or 20 or $30, shout out once in a while. So people would pay them 10, 20, $30 for a shout out. And I literally could find Instagram accounts for, no joke, $500 that had like hundreds of thousands of followers. And then I knew people that had brands, they had businesses, they had, let's say they made music, or they had a t-shirt business, or they had whatever, a car detailing business. And I knew all these people that had businesses because I went to high school with them, or they lived in the local area, or I knew a friend that had a friend that had a friend, whatever. And what I would do is I would say, hey, you have a business and you have an Instagram account with 300 followers. Would you be interested in buying this Instagram account that has 230,000 followers? So you might be thinking, well, what if they don't have the money, right? Because these accounts would typically, I'd sell them for between $4,000 and $6,000, right? So here's the thing. A lot of, high schoolers might not have that. However, sometimes people would co-own. Sometimes people had a grandpa. People's parents had money. Stuff like that. Also, think about it. A lot of us knew, let's say, rappers, SoundCloud rappers, for example, in high school. A lot of them sometimes got made fun of for their music. So they would be willing to pay a decent sum of money, and they'd be willing to sell their shoe collection, they'd be willing to do features, they'd be willing to do yada, 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 to be able to scoop up 4, 5, 6 grand and give their savings and whatever, just because they were currently being made fun of, right? So I could provide them with enough value, I could solve a problem for them because people weren't taking their music serious, their music career seriously. Because people would make fun of them, oh, this up-and-coming SoundCloud rapper, oh, he's trash, yada, yada, yada. But all of a sudden, if they had an Instagram account with 200,000 followers, people would take them a bit more seriously. If you're selling an account for 4 to 6 grand, let's say average at 5 grand, and you paid 500, that's 4,500 profit. You sell 2 accounts, you're almost at 10 grand, you're at 9 grand. So if you just sell a couple accounts in a month, you pretty much made 10 grand. That's a personal example that you guys can literally do as well. There's also a website called, I believe it's called FameSwap, that a lot of people use to sell their accounts. So you don't buy an account in there because prices are very high. But if you're willing to wait a couple months, that's a really good side hustle. You can just DM a bunch of theme pages and say, hey, I'll give you a blank for your account. Would you be interested in selling? You'll send out 100 messages. Maybe one person will say yes out of people that actually respond. And then you can list it on FameSwap for probably 10 times the price. If you pay, $500, you can probably get, for an account with a couple 100,000, depending on the niche, you could possibly get 20 grand, 10 grand. Depends on exactly if it's like a finance account or if it's a fitness account. Those are very different multiples. But so that's, in my opinion, possibly the quickest way to go from pretty much no money to $10,000. And that works in a lot of industries. Flipping furniture, you can go on like Facebook Marketplace, look at the free section. People will give away like couches, people will give away a bunch of stuff. But just think about, are you going high or low ticket? I would recommend high ticket, so a low amount of people but high dollar amounts and high profit margins. And yeah, I'm not saying you can do it in a week. Maybe you can, but no huge promises there, but 10,000 is not as much as people think it is. It really isn't. If you are selling high ticket, which is like in my business, we have $60,000 packages. It's not as hard as you think. By the way, shameless plug, my business, we have a free webinar. We put businesses on the news, so like Fox, CNBC, Digital Journal, MarketWatch, all the big names. We have access to publishing on thousands of networks. We have a free webinar you can tune into. RockwellPRwebinar.com, RockwellPRwebinar.com. We go over a few secrets on how to get published on those big names to get your business the trust and credibility that you deserve. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And I just want to say thanks for tuning in, and I should be posting some more good free content pretty soon. So thank you.